what to do for an intro for this, so here's me drinking a bottle of water. Quality content, folks. Hey, what's up, you guys? FilmFan0599 here again, and today we're going to review The Outsider. So The Outsider stars Jared Leto, and what this film is basically about, it's about, this former American GI, and he now joins the Japanese Yakuza. And basically some stuff goes down while he is a part of the Japanese Yakuza. So, what did I think of The Outsider? Now, going into The Outsider, I didn't have much expectations for it, because for one, I didn't see a trailer for it. Two, I didn't know really what the movie was about. All I knew was that it was a Netflix original movie, it had Jared Leto, and it had some controversy behind it. So, I was basically blind going into it, and, I also didn't read any really reviews for the movie as well. I didn't know really what people thought of the film, so I was pretty much going into it blind. And this movie was a literal drag to sit through. This movie is bad. Now, why do I say it's a literal drag to sit through? Well, nothing happens in this movie. Literally, nothing happens in this film. There is nothing that happens in this movie. It's just like stuff. Like, I get you have to build stuff. I get that. You have to build stuff in the movie. But that's all this movie is just building. That's all it is. Like, it's literally building until, like, the last 10 minutes of the movie. Which aren't even that great as well. Like, literally, all this movie is doing is building towards nothing. That is literally all this movie. Because when I was watching in the beginning, I was like, so it's building up to something, a little bit intrigued to see where this goes, and it literally is building towards nothing. Like, literally nothing happens in this movie. It is bland, boring, and just dull as hell. It's terrible, this movie. Like, seriously, I love character study movies, but it is not done right here, because that's another thing. The characters are so one-noted and terrible, honestly. Man. But I do have a few positives with the movie. I'll get into those first. So let's get into the positives with the movie first. And my positives are, first being, the acting for the most part isn't too bad in the movie. I thought Jared Leto was pretty solid in the movie. I thought he gave a good performance. It was nothing groundbreaking or anything, but I did think for what he needed to do, I think he did a pretty solid job. I did think his performance was good. And some of the other actors in the film are pretty solid in the movie as well. I thought they did a good job for the most part, I'll say. They were pretty good, especially his partner. I think it's Jared Leto's partner that follows along with him in the movie was probably my favorite character in the entire film. Because I thought he was just, a bit likable, and, the actor that played him did a solid job too. So, I'll say that, yeah, the acting for the most part was pretty solid. I did think the atmosphere with Japan and stuff like that was actually really good. I actually did like how they built the atmosphere of Japan, how it looked. It was really nice. I did think they did do a solid job with that. I will say it looked pretty nice, and I liked how they got the atmosphere of Japan. And lastly, I'll say the directing is really solid with this movie. I'll say it has, some really good directing. It's very well shot, very well edited. Cinematography is really good. Despite of how much I don't really like most of these Netflix movies, they do get some good directors for them. I will say that, it always feels like, even though if I don't really necessarily like them, I always give credit to the directors, because it seems like they always pick out good directors to, direct them well. So I will say that, yeah, the movie did have some pretty good directing towards it, and, it was pretty well shot, editing was pretty solid, and cinematography was really good. And that's where my positives end with this movie, because everything else I pretty much hated about this movie. So, let's get into that with the negatives. And my negatives are, first being, the rest of the acting is pretty bad, honestly. And especially the woman that plays Jared Leto's, he plays his best friend, his partner's sister, and then eventually becomes his wife and stuff like that in the movie, Jared Leto's. And all she was there for me was for something for Jared Leto's character, and, you know, just there to be his wife. That's it. That's all her purpose was in this movie. Nothing more, nothing less. And I felt like she was a useless character, and the actress that played her wasn't good. Like, really wasn't. Speaking of the characters themselves are not interesting. As much as I thought the performances for the most part weren't too bad, the characters themselves are very one-noted and very uninteresting. And we don't even know much about Jared Leto's character. Like, give us some background. Why does he want to join the Yakuza? Why is he, you know, like, with all this and stuff like that? Like, we barely get anything with his character. And it makes me not really care about his character all that much, because I really don't know much about him. He's really poorly developed, honestly, and I just don't care. Like, a lot of the characters in this movie are pretty one-noted, and pretty terrible, honestly. Like, I don't care about them at all in the film. Like, they're pretty one-noted characters. The story is boring as hell. Like, seriously, this story, it felt like it was leading towards nothing. Like, the story, I felt like, was just leading towards nothing. I never felt a sense of urgency, a sense of, you know, tension building. Like, I never felt anything with the story. It was very bland and boring, to be honest with you. Like, honestly, like, I didn't feel interested at all during the story. Like, in the opening, it seemed like, okay, maybe we can get to someplace, but it's just, all it is just building and building for 2 hours. That's all it is. Like, it literally leads to nothing for me. Honestly, like, it just literally leads to nothing. And the story is just so boring. And also, not to mention, the movie can get really predictable with some of its moments, honestly. Like, there were some moments that I really did see coming, honestly. Like, I'm like, yep, saw that coming. Yep, saw that coming too. Like, and you know me, I hate it when I'm like that with movies, where I can predict a lot of the moments that are going to happen in the film. And certainly that does happen in The Outsider. But like I said, it's very boring, it's very bland. I really didn't care at all for the story, honestly. And the writing is pretty bad, honestly, with this movie, too. The dialogue really isn't that great. The movie moves at such a snail's pace. This movie was literally a drag to sit through. Like, it just, nothing was happening. Like, literally nothing was happening in this movie. Nothing. It's just a big old bowl of nothing. Seriously, it's just a big old bowl of nothing, honestly, in this movie. It's 2 hours of nothing. Not to mention, when the last 10 minutes does happen in the movie, it just feels so, like, out of nowhere and just so sloppily handled. And ends so abruptly, too. Like, what? Like, it's just, what was the point? Like, why was this even made, honestly? Like, what was the point of this movie? Just to build towards nothing. I guess that's exactly why this movie was made. Just to build towards nothing. Oh my god. This was a little drag to sit through. Honestly, like, I really did not like The Outsider. The Outsider is a pretty bad movie, honestly, and I did not enjoy it, as you can tell, honestly. So, yeah, The Outsider was a bad movie. Aside from my official grade on The Outsider, my official grade on The Outsider is a D+. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, honestly. It really is. Netflix needs to get their heads out of their asses. They really do, because if you guys are planning on releasing 83 original movies this year, and half of them have been either garbage or mediocre at best, you guys need to really do something, because I don't know how much I can handle with you guys, because, yeah, this was bad. Yeah, The Outsider gets a D+. It's a bad movie. So, what did you guys think of The Outsider? Leave in the comment section below, and I'm FilmFan0599, and we will see you out later. Peace.